That's right, you know, 2011 was a great year in some respects, but in others not. Let me just give you a bit of a statistic. Last year, no less than 443 rhinos were poached and killed in South Africa. And whether you are a nature lover or not, this is a shocking statistic, as a national treasure and, of course, an endangered species is being killed off insanely, inhumanely and senselessly in our country. Now, with me to tell me exactly how CiplaVet is involved in preventing this is I have with me Anik Geylen from the EWT, or the Endangered Wildlife Trust, and, of course, also Craig Mentor, who is the MD of CiplaVet. Welcome to both of you. Good to have you. Now, 443 rhinos. I think once you think about one rhino, it's a massive creature. Now you think about 443 of them being killed off. That is insane.
Yeah. Actually, the number of rhinos poached in 2011 is actually 448, and not 443. And if you compare that to the amount of rhinos poached in 2010, which was 333, you're looking at a 43.5% escalation. And if you compare and if you look at the total rhino population in the world, South Africa holds about approximately 93% of the white rhino population in the world and approximately 36% of black rhinos. So, I mean, that really means that South Africa is one of the last strongholds of rhino populations, and we really need to act now and do something about this.
And of course, we're talking about 90% of a species that is already endangered.
Yes, I mean, yeah. So it's really time for us to take this seriously and do something, especially in South Africa, if you're looking at the numbers.
So tell me, what is the Endangered Wildlife Trust doing in order to prevent this?
Katlego, I mean, you know, there's no silver bullet or magical solution to rhino poaching. I mean, we all know it's a massive problem. So what we at EWT is trying to do is follow kind of a multi-pronged approach, looking at lots of training, information sharing, supporting investigations, and also trying to improve the actual detection of rhino horn. And where CiplaVet will be supporting us greatly is where we actually very appropriately using dogs in our activities to try and counter rhino poaching. For example, using sniffer dogs at airports, ports of exit to actually detect rhino horn leaving the country. And not only rhino horn, but also abalone and elephant ivory. Yeah. And also, very interestingly, using dogs as anti-poaching dogs. So you actually train the dogs and they track poachers, they can detect ammunition, and they also can be very useful specifically at crime scenes where rhino have been poached. Also a very, very exciting, very new project that we've just launched recently is our Rhino Orphan Response Strategy. Yes. And that's where the EWT is partnering with a lady called Karen Trendler. She's an internationally recognized animal rhino rehabilitation expert. And there we're basically looking at trying to get an immediate response. When there was a poaching incident, there is an orphan calf, what the emergency response should be, and also the subsequent rehabilitation, care, rearing, etc. And then very briefly, we're planning our first training session on that, because training is a big component of that, actually at the end of this month.
Brilliant, lots of work ahead for you
guys.
Lots
of. Well, I can carry on, but...
I'm sure you could. But I mean, Craig, then you guys come in. I mean, we've spoken so much about the projects that Cipla is involved in, and now CiplaVet is involved with EWT in fighting rhino poaching. How exactly did you become involved?
Well, Cipla is very passionate about animal health and veterinary pharmaceuticals and the welfare of animals, and not only dogs and cats and horses, where most of our products are used, but also wildlife. And especially last year, mid-year last year in July, we realized how serious this problem was getting and how could we as a company contribute towards it. So what we did is we set up a campaign where when you buy FitProtect, which is our flea and tick product, a portion of that sale will go towards the Endangered Wildlife Trust. And we teamed up with the Endangered Wildlife Trust. I think it's really important that people get behind 2 or 3 big organizations that have the resources and the capability to deal with the problem rather than it all being fragmented across the country. And so we teamed up with the Endangered Wildlife Trust, and the money that we raised will basically go to supporting the orphan calves, because not only when a cow is killed, we need to save that calf, otherwise it ends up being a statistic of 2 instead of 1. Yeah. And then also the tracker dogs and the sniffer dogs. So our money is going into a trust, which will then all directly go towards a meaningful contribution to curbing the massive problem that we've got.
And as I said in the beginning, I mean, this is a national treasure we're talking about.
Exactly. It's an icon of the African bushveld, and we have to protect it, and it's really reaching epidemic proportions.
So how would you encourage people to get involved in this?
Okay, we've got a campaign running which ends in 20 days' time, so I want to appeal to people to get out there now. Basically, if you purchase FitProtect, which is our flea and tick product, which is very affordable and highly effective, 10% of the revenue that we generate from that sale, we give to Endangered Wildlife Trust. So you just need to put your receipt into the box.
Okay.
All the veterinary practices and vet shops have these boxes and some big posters in there. We've got till the 31st of January. We've already raised a substantial amount of money, and we want to raise more. So we've got 20 more days. So it's the height of the flea and tick season. So purchase FIPROTEC, and it'll all be going to a good cause.
Yeah, and you'll then put your slip in there.
You'll put your slip in there, and then our reps collect them from all the practices. And you can also go to our website, www.CiplaVet.co.za, and there's information on there as well.
Well, thank you very much to both of you for doing the fantastic work that you are. Thank you guys very much. Well, there you have it. Of course, more information also on our very own website, eXpressoShow.com. Right now, time for some smart shopper tips with the one and only Kia.
Cipla, we'll make it better.
Stay with eXpresso and SABC3.